I don't know when life started to hate me. Maybe from the day I opened my eyes to this world, because I don't remember a single moment when I felt truly lucky. I was just a little girl. When my father died, I didn't even understand what death was. I only remember the sound of people crying, the smell of flowers, and my mother's hand holding mine so tight that it hurt. And when I looked up at her face, she was crying too. But it wasn't only sadness, it was fear. I could feel it. She didn't know what to do after that day. Everything started to change. My mother was always quiet. She used to sit near the window and stare outside for hours. I would ask her what she was thinking, but she never answered. Then one morning she told me we were going to visit my aunt. I thought it was just for a few days, but that day became the day she left me forever. She hugged me tight, kissed my forehead, and said, "You'll be safe here, my love." And then she walked away with another man. I never saw her. Again, my aunt was not a kind woman. She was strict and cold. She used to make me do all the housework. Even when I was too small to carry the water bucket, she used to shout at me when I made mistakes. And sometimes she would hit me with a stick when I cried. She told me, "Stop crying. Your tears won't bring your father back, and your mother doesn't want you." I started to believe her words. I started to think maybe I really was born unlucky every night. I used to lie on the floor and whisper, "To God, please make me disappear. I don't want to live like this." Years passed, and I grew up, but not like other girls. I didn't have friends. I didn't go to school anymore. I was just a shadow in my aunt's house, working, cleaning, cooking, doing everything like a servant and dreaming of freedom. Sometimes I would stand outside the small gate and watch other girls laughing, playing, wearing nice clothes, and I would smile too. But deep inside, I was breaking. One day, my aunt got sick, very sick. She couldn't move much, and I had to take care of her. Even though she had been cruel to me, I still did everything for her. But when she was dying, she didn't even hold my hand. She just looked at me and said, "Don't think life will be kind to you after me?" And then she closed her eyes forever, and I thought, maybe she was right. After she died, I had no one, no family, no home, because the house she lived in was not really hers. She had sold it to someone else before dying. So I was thrown out. With nothing, I started walking on the road barefoot, hungry, scared, and alone. I didn't know where to go. I slept on streets. I begged for food. Some people gave me a piece of bread. Some just looked at me with disgust. I felt like a ghost walking in a world that didn't care. One night it rained so heavily that I couldn't even sleep. I just sat under a broken roof, crying and talking to myself, asking, "Why, God? Why did you make me like this? Why did you keep me alive?" Then one morning, when the sun was soft and the road was quiet, I saw him. He was standing a few steps away watching me. He had blue eyes like the sky after rain, and a kind smile. I didn't know who he was, but when he came closer, I felt something I never felt before: safety. He asked me, "Are you okay?" And I wanted to say, "No, I'm not." But I just nodded. He sat beside me, gave me some food, and said, "My name is Ryan. What's yours?" And I said, "Jennifer." He told me he didn't have much, but he could help me find a place to stay. He didn't look rich. His clothes were simple, but his eyes had kindness, and that was enough for me. Days passed, and we started to talk more. We used to sit near the same corner. Every evening he would bring some bread and tea, and we would laugh. Little, just small things, but it felt like everything to me. For the first time, I felt seen. He told me stories about dreams, and I told him about pain. And somehow our words started to heal each other. Slowly, love grew between us, quietly, softly, like a flower in dust, but I never knew that behind his smile he was hiding something. One day, I saw him coughing badly. There was blood on his hand. But when I asked, he just smiled and said, "It's nothing." I believed him because I didn't want to lose him. I didn't want my only happiness to disappear. But after some weeks, his face got pale, his voice weaker. And then one night he collapsed. I screamed his name, but he didn't answer. I tried to wake him up, but his eyes were closed forever. I felt the same pain again, the pain of losing someone you love more than life itself. I sat beside his body all night, holding his hand and crying until my tears stopped. After that, I didn't want to live anymore. I felt like everything was over the world, had taken everything from me, and now even love was gone. I stopped eating. I stopped talking. I just walked like a shadow again. And one night, I decided I will end it. I went near the bridge, looked at the dark water below, and whispered, "Goodbye, Ryan." But before I could jump, I felt something strange. A small pain in my stomach. I ignored it at first. But after some days, I realized I was pregnant. I couldn't believe it. I touched my stomach and cried again. But this time, they were not tears of pain. They were tears of reason. I had a reason to live now, his child. Our love living inside me. I started to work in small shops, cleaning, washing, doing anything I could to survive. After 15 days, I got a call from a lawyer. She said, "Are you Jennifer?" I said yes. She said, "I'm Ryan's lawyer. He left something for you. He has left his property in your name." I was shocked. I went to sign the papers, and when I did, they told me he had millions. He was rich. He just never told me, because he wanted me to love him for who he was, not for what he had. I cried again, this time with gratitude. I bought a small house, not too big, just peaceful. And after months, my baby girl was born. She had blue eyes just like him. I named her Hope, because that's what she gave me. And now every morning I wake up to her smile and I feel maybe God was listening all along. Maybe all the pain, all the tears were just a path leading me here. And when I hold her in my arms, I whisper, "Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for loving me when the world didn't." Every morning, when I wake up, I see her little face beside me, her tiny fingers holding mine so tight as if she never wants me to go away. Her name is Hope, and she really is my only hope sometimes when I look at her eyes. I see him there. Ryan, the same blue, calm eyes that used to look at me like I was the only person in the world. She smiles, and it feels like the whole world becomes soft for a moment, like the pain never existed. But when night comes and the house becomes quiet, I sit by the window and think of him. I remember his laugh, his words, his warmth, and I whisper, "I wish you were here. Life is not easy. Even now, people think when you have money, everything becomes fine. But they don't see the emptiness inside your heart. Yes, I have a house now and food, and even people who call me ma'am. But inside, I'm still that same lonely girl who lost everything. I have friends now. Some of them say I'm lucky. I just smile. I don't tell them. That luck is just another word people use to make pain look pretty. Sometimes I go out with Hope to the park. She runs around and laughs so much that everyone stops to watch her. She's beautiful. She's light itself, and I tell her stories about.
One day I found Ryan's old diary. It was hidden in one of his jackets that the lawyer had sent. I opened it slowly, and on the first page it said, "If one day you find this Jennifer, please remember that meeting you was not an accident. It was the purpose of my life. You taught me what love means. Even if I die, I'll still be with you. Every time you smile, every time you cry, I'll be there." I read those words again and again until they became a part of me. Time keeps moving, and so do we. Hope is growing fast. She talks so much, and she asks so many questions. She wants to go to school soon. I watch her draw with her little hands. She draws houses with blue roofs and people holding hands. And sometimes she says, "This is you and Papa and me." Together I don't correct her, because in her heart we are still together, and in mine too. I still go sometimes to the place where I first met Ryan. I sit on the same corner where I once begged for food, but now I just sit quietly and thank God for everything, because I finally understand that pain was not meant to destroy me. It was meant to shape me, to teach me that love can grow from the darkest soil. I take a small flower and leave it there for him. And when I walk back home, I feel lighter. Life doesn't become perfect. It just becomes peaceful. I still miss him, but I no longer cry the same way I used to. Because now I know he's watching over us every day. I talk to him in my mind when I cook, when I sing for Hope, when I watch her sleep. I tell him she looks just like you. My love, you would be proud of her. And sometimes I feel a soft wind touch my face, as if he's answering. I'm already proud now. When people see me, they see a happy woman with a beautiful child. They don't see the broken roads. I walked the nights. I cried the hunger, the pain, the loneliness. They just see the smile. And that's fine, because I'm not ashamed of my scars anymore. They're the proof that I survived. And when I tell my story, I don't tell it to get pity. I tell it to remind others that no matter how dark life becomes, there is always a reason to live, even if that reason is just a little heartbeat inside you. Sometimes I think about my mother. I don't know where she is, or if she's even alive, but I've forgiven her, because now I understand. Maybe she was broken too. Maybe she couldn't love me, because she didn't know how to love herself. Life is strange. It makes us both victim and teacher. And I've learned that forgiveness is not for others. It's for your own peace. So I keep living day by day, slowly, calmly, with love in my heart and hope in my hands. I look at my daughter, and I know that even though I lost everything once, I have everything now. And when I close my eyes at night, I whisper, "Thank you, God. Thank you for taking me through the fire, because that fire made me who I am today, strong, brave, and alive." And that's how my story goes. Not perfect, not easy, but real. And sometimes that's enough, because life doesn't promise happiness. It just gives us chances. And I took mine. I chose to live for love, for hope, and for the memory of a man who taught me that even broken souls can be beautiful. Hope is growing older now. She's almost 10, and every day she surprises me with how wise and kind she is. She wakes me up in the morning with her small hands touching my face, saying, "Mama, wake up. It's a new day." And sometimes I just lie there and look at her smile, because she reminds me that love can be born even from pain. She loves to paint. She paints the sky blue and always adds a small yellow sun. And she says, "This is Papa watching us from up there." I never tell her to stop, because in that little imagination lives her faith and her joy. Sometimes, when I walk her to school, I see other mothers holding their children's hands, and I feel proud that I can do that too, that I survived to give her this life. Sometimes people at school ask about her father, and she just smiles and says he's in heaven. I can see teachers get quiet when she says that, and I see their eyes soften, and I know they understand. Even though I have everything now, the house, the car, the money, the peace, there are still nights when I lie awake and think about my past, those dark days when I was alone, hungry and scared. Sometimes I still wake up with tears, but then I look around and I see her sleeping beside me, and I feel the universe telling me, "You made it." I whisper to myself, "You made it. Jennifer, you made it, through everything." There was a time last year when Hope got very sick. She had a high fever for days, and I was terrified. I sat beside her bed all night holding her hand. Just like she used to hold mine, I prayed, like I had never prayed before. I told God, "Please don't take her away from me. You've taken enough." And when her fever finally broke, I cried for hours. Not because I was sad, but because I was grateful. That moment made me realize how much she means to me. She is not just my daughter. She is my second chance. Sometimes when I walk through the garden, I see a butterfly land on a flower, and it reminds me of Ryan, because he used to tell me every soul that leaves comes back in some form. Maybe he's the wind that passes through our window or the sunlight that touches our faces softly. I don't know for sure, but I feel him. I always do. I've started writing now. Not for fame or money, but for peace. I write letters to him. Letters I'll never send. I tell him about hope. About how she laughs like him. How she runs to hug me after school. How she tells me she wants to be a doctor so she can help people. I tell him how proud he would be. And every time I write, I feel like he's sitting beside me, listening, smiling quietly, like he always did. Life teaches you slowly that pain never disappears. It just changes shape. It becomes softer, lighter. Something you carry with grace instead of fear. When I walk by the mirror now, I don't see the broken girl anymore. I see a woman who learned how to survive and then how to live. And I whisper, I wish you were here. Life is not easy. Even now, people think when you have money, everything becomes fine. But they don't see the emptiness inside your heart. Yes, I have a house now, and food, and even people who call me ma'am. But inside, I'm still that same lonely girl who lost everything. I have friends. Now, some of them say, I'm lucky. I just smile. I don't tell them that luck is just another word people use to make pain look pretty. Sometimes I go out with Hope to the park. She runs around and laughs so much that everyone stops to watch her. She's beautiful. She's light itself, and I tell her stories about how to love again. I learned that strength doesn't come from fighting. It comes from accepting, from forgiving, from believing that even after everything, something good can still happen. Hope often asks me, Mama, why do you smile when you look at the sky? And I tell her because someone I love lives there. And she says, one day I'll meet him too. And I say, yes, one day. You will, my love, but not too soon, because we still have a lot of living to do. She laughs and hugs me, and I close my eyes, and I feel whole again. I've started helping other women now, women who are lost or hurt or abandoned. I tell them my story, not to make them cry, but to make them believe that no matter how broken you feel, life can still surprise you. Sometimes pain is not the end. It's just the beginning of something more beautiful. I look into their eyes, and I see myself years ago scared and hopeless, and I tell them, you will be okay. I promise. Years have passed. Now, Hope is taller and smarter, and the house feels full of laughter again. Sometimes I still talk to Ryan. In my dreams, I tell him everything, and he just smiles. He never says a word, just looks at me with those same blue eyes, and I wake up feeling calm. I think that's his way of saying he's proud of us. When I sit on the porch at sunset and watch Hope playing in the garden, I realize that life didn't give me what I wanted. It gave me what I needed. It gave me pain so I could learn compassion. It gave me loss so I could understand love. It gave me emptiness so I could fill it with meaning. And it gave me hope, literally and truly. She is my reason, my heart, my peace. So this is me now, a woman who was once broken and forgotten, now living quietly, peacefully, in a small house filled with laughter and memories. I still miss him every day, but now the missing doesn't hurt. It heals because I know love never ends. It just changes homes. Maybe now it lives in my daughter's smile, or in the way the evening light falls on our faces. Maybe love never left at all. And when I close my eyes, at night with Hope sleeping beside me, and the stars shining softly above, I whisper, thank you, God, for taking everything from me, so that I could find what truly matters. Because sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself. And maybe that's what being alive really means.